The Aeneid by Virgil. We have the Aeneid here in two different volumes, two different translators. So let's have a look. The horrible admission that I have to make to you is that I haven't read either of these. I've never read the Aeneid. I got it with full intention to read it, and I still plan to read it, but I haven't yet. So first I got this one. This is a John Dryden translation, but you know, Dryden, I think, died in around the 1700 or something. So you can imagine his translation is not using the most modern language. Perfectly 100% understandable. This is a Harvard Classics. The binding is solid. The paper is nice enough. And, but it's, look, the print is a little, not exactly small, but it just feels a little cramped in there. There really aren't notes or explanations. It just sort of, there's an introduction and a dedication by Dryden, but then it just sort of jumps in. You can see, through foes and fires to see my house a prey. These are, let's just look at the first line here. Arms in the man I sing, who, forced by fate and haughty Juno's unrelenting hate, expelled and exiled, left the Trojan shore. And it talks about long labors both by sea and land. Dryden goes for a rhyme, which the other translation that I have does not. He doesn't bother with a rhyme. And he, I think, goes more for the story and trying to get it the way that Virgil wrote and the words that Virgil used. Let's have a look. The Aeneid by Virgil, but translation by Robert Fagles. Introduction by Bernard Cox. Now you may remember, I also have an Iliad and an Odyssey. Same translator, same introduction. So I like this guy. That's the Aeneid. This is the Viking edition. Has this little symbol on the side here. It has a ribbon, and the top has a color to it, the top pages. But it's glued in binding, which is not going to last as long as anything that has a sewn binding. This one has a sewn binding. You can open it up. It's got this pretty little end paper here. Don't expect a lot of illustrations throughout. There aren't a lot of illustrations. Let's look at that first sentence. Was I smart? Yes. Here's the ribbon on the first sentence. War is in a man I sing, in exile, driven on by fate. He was the first to flee the coast of Troy. Destined to reach the Lavinian shores and Italian soil, yet many blows he took on land and sea from the gods above, thanks to cruel Juno's relentless rage. And many losses he bore in battle too, before he could found a city, bring his gods to Latium, source of the Latin race, the Alban lords and high walls of Rome. I don't know if I pronounced that. That might be Latium or Latium. I'm going to guess Latium, though. Maybe you don't know, but this is really a story of the man who escaped or left Troy. Really, he escaped Troy before Troy was sacked in the Trojan War, and went on to help found Rome. At least that's my understanding. I've never read it, so I can't say for sure. The idea is that the Romans wanted an epic in the manner of the Iliad and the Odyssey, and so they really hired Virgil to write it. This is Augustus Caesar, or somewhere around. I'm not sure who actually first asked Virgil to do it, but it was done at least during some of Augustus's reign. So we're still talking about a long time ago, but you know, a long time ago was already a long time after Homer's story. That's sometimes hard to get, but this was written, right around the beginning of the Common Era, a little bit before, and it was still, hundreds and hundreds of years after the Iliad and the Odyssey were written. Okay, so I have here two editions of a book I've never read, the Aeneid by Virgil.